You're listening to Tackles, Tunes, and Turnbuckles, brought to you by the East Alabama News Network, broadcasting from the loveliest village on the plains, home of the Auburn Tigers, Auburn, Alabama. Here is your host of Tackles, Tunes, and Turnbuckles, Adam Broach.
Welcome to Tackles, Tunes, and Turnbuckles. This week's show, we have Coach Anthony Tank Jones from Notasulga High School joining us in the studio this week. Coach Jones is going to talk to us about his past teams, his influences from his high school days, his college years, and an outlook on this upcoming football season. And I'm going to talk about my weekend. It was a most interesting weekend. I took a trip to Louisville, Kentucky to visit Kenny Starmaker Bolin. And you can read more about my trip to Louisville on EastAlabamaNews.com. That's EastALNews.com. I review my trip to LaGrange, Kentucky, Starmaker Bolin's hometown, and visit some landmarks from his childhood, from when he first met the legendary manager Jim Cornette. He tells me some stories about growing up in LaGrange, living above the fire department in that second-story apartment. And we take a trip out to the nursing home to visit Ma Bolin. And Kenny entertains the residents there at the old folks' home there in LaGrange, Kentucky.
Tackles, Tunes, and Turnbuckles with your host, Adam Broach. We'll be right back.
But first, a little word from our sponsor, Fat Daddy's. If you're looking for a great, out-of-the-way honky-tonk, away from the hustle and bustle of downtown Auburn, look no further. Take a trip out to the corner of Wire and Webster Road in the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn, Alabama. Visit Fat Daddy's. Fat Daddy's is a private club, only a $5 membership fee. Great happy hour drink specials. Every day open until 9 p.m. $2 domestic beer, $2 well drinks. On Monday nights, it is open mic comedy night. Wednesday nights, ladies night. $2 glasses of wine until 9 p.m. It's also karaoke night with SLS Pros Karaoke. Be the star of the stage. Every weekend, put on your dancing shoes and come on out and join us for live music from great local artists. Fat Daddy's. Open later than anyone else in town. That's Fat Daddy's at the corner of Wire and Webster Road.
Back to the show. Tackles, Tunes, and Turnbuckles with your host, Adam Broach.
Well, I've been wanting to make this trip for a while to go up and see Kenny Starmaker Bolin for several months now, after my last trip to Louisville for my Buffet with Bolin Part 2 with Kenny and Jim Cornette. Kenny and I have been messaging each other back and forth through Facebook and trying to get this thing planned out. So it just so happens this past weekend I was able to break away and head up there and make the 7-hour trip to Louisville. I got there late afternoon on Friday, about 4 p.m. and got settled into the spare bedroom there in his Victorian-era mansion there in the Highlands neighborhood, and, well, visited for a while with Kenny and his son and lovely daughter-in-law, and Kenny and I had decided that we would order a pizza from Papa John's, a local establishment. As everyone should know, Papa John's got its start there in Louisville. And so we made the order and got the pizza delivered right about the time this monstrous storm broke loose. I had been watching it on the radar from my laptop there at Kenny's living room, and boy, did it put on a show. I mean, lightning, wind, and apparently there was some damage around the Louisville metropolitan area. And just as the storm's winding up, we're sitting on Kenny's porch watching the show there, and the phone rings. It's the pizza delivery guy, and he's trying to find Kenny's house. So he flashes the porch light, the guy comes on up, we pay for our pizza, and man, it was an ordeal trying to order this pizza. There were probably 5 or 6 Papa John's locations, and we called one that Google said was only 1.1 miles away. And they did not deliver to Kenny's address, so we called another one that happened to be a good 5-6 miles away. But they were able to deliver to us. We enjoyed a nice extra large Papa John's pizza. Tucal and Chocodile, they enjoyed the crust from our pizza. And we called it a night. It had been an eventful day for both of us. I had a very long drive, so I was a little tuckered out. And Kenny had some things to do, processing orders for his Beats by Bolin headphones, the Bolin media microphones, and some other things, t-shirt orders and whatnot. So I went upstairs and called it a night. Well, on Saturday, I'd made plans with Stacy Cornett, Jim Cornette's lovely wife. She was going to take me out to lunch, show me around town, go grab a drink somewhere, and just socialize for a little while. And on Saturday night, I was going to treat Kenny and his son and daughter-in-law to Clarksville seafood. All I have heard about for the past few years was how great Clarksville seafood is. But Kenny, in the past year, last year sometime, they had a disagreement with the owners of that establishment over the firing of a kid with autism. So they made a vow that they would never set foot in Clarksville seafood again. And Kenny did not. I went in and picked up the order of the fish boxes. I got a order of fish and an order of clams. And they were out for the summer of their famous scallops, which, oh my goodness, I love scallops. But they were out. And the plan was we would take our Clarksville seafood over to Kingfish on the River there in Jeffersonville, Indiana. And Chris Bolin, Kenny's son, another gentleman that joined us by the name of Cameron, he and Chris were going to order their food from Kingfish. And Kenny and I were going to eat our Clarksville fish with them there at Kingfish, overlooking the beautiful Ohio River. So we arrived there at the Kingfish on the River. I park the car, and they go in to get a table. They go to the downstairs bar area that's overlooking the river, and they're told, you'll get better service if you go upstairs. We've got a band out here and other things going on, so just go upstairs and grab you a table there. So they did. Well, I meet them at the table. And, oh my goodness, it was an ordeal. We sat there for a good 20 minutes trying to get our drinks ordered. Chris and Cameron were going to order their dinner, but after about 20 minutes, the maitre d' comes out and just rudely asks us who sat us at this table, and we told them the people downstairs sent us up here. Then he was shocked. It was that takeout food you have there. We're like, well, these people here, that we're meeting them here, they're eating dinner here. We already had something, so we're going to order drinks and appetizers and eat our little to-go box while they order their dinner here. And they're like, well, okay. Well, another 20 minutes goes by. No drinks, no appetizers, nothing. And I haven't even gotten someone to take the order yet. Well, we're getting hot, and our food's getting cold. Finally, we grabbed someone, and Myra, Chris's wife, Kenny's lovely daughter-in-law, has a very bad headache, and she's just wanting a glass of water to take something for her headache. And you would think we made an outlandish request for a glass of water. Eventually, a nice lady by the name of Lisa, if you hear this show, thank you for the great service you provided. She had to come out from inside. She was behind the bar inside the restaurant. She comes out and takes our drink order, puts in her appetizer order and everything like that. And finally, someone else brings it out. And this lady, I can't remember her name, but she had the most unpleasant attitude of a server I have ever seen in my life. Needless to say, her tip was not too well. But Lisa got a nice tip. So we eat our now cold Clarksville seafood. Chris and Cameron and Myra, they enjoy their hot Clarksville, kingfish dinner while Kenny and I eat our cold fish. And from there, we go back across the river into Louisville. They're going to call it a night. I'm going to go out and enjoy the nightlife there in Louisville on Bardstown Road. Go and visit a few of the clubs and bars there, take in the nightlife, and get up Sunday morning and take a trip out to LaGrange, Kentucky to visit Starmaker Bolin's childhood home. He's going to show us where he grew up and some landmarks from his book entitled I Probably Screwed You Too, the mostly true stories of Kenny Starmaker Bolin. And folks, I recommend you get this book. It's available on Amazon, or you can get an autographed copy through Kenny. Just contact him on Facebook or through Twitter. On Twitter at Starmaker Bolin, and he can hook you up with a nice autographed copy of his book. I encourage you to read it. It is a very nice book, very entertaining. I've read it cover to cover a few times. It's very entertaining. You'll get quite a few laughs out of it. He talks about his early life, growing up, how he met Jim Cornette, how he got started in the wrestling business, and all the stars he's managed. And there's some tidbits in there from Jim Cornette, Dutch Mantell, several high-profile wrestling personalities. And so we drive out the Kentucky Scenic Highway of Louisville's River Road out to Oldham County. Kenny shows me where his childhood home was at, where he got his first kiss. And on the way out of that little road, we almost hit the biggest buzzard I've ever seen in my life. This thing had to weigh at least 50 pounds. I mean, you would think it was a bald eagle or something taking flight. But this thing was huge. I don't know what they're feeding the buzzards up there, but they're definitely a whole lot bigger than they are here. So we go on into LaGrange, and there on Main Street, right above a cafe, is Kenny's second-story apartment, which at the time, back in the 70s, was right above the LaGrange Fire Department. And Kenny explains how him and Jim tapped into the fire department's antenna system to get wrestling from as far away as Denver, Colorado, Cincinnati, Lexington, just all over the place. Any channel that carried wrestling, they found it. He had a battery-powered television that they carried up onto the roof to watch wrestling. Then one night, Kenny obtained some fish from the local Long John Silver's that the employees had taken out and placed in bags and placed it on top of the dumpster because they couldn't just hand it over the counter to him. So he picked this big bag of fish up and took it home, and he and Jim feasted on this fish. Well, 40 years later, on the Jim Cornette Experience, Kenny tells the story to Jim about how he acquired this fish. And Jim Cornette is a germaphobe. He has OCD. He's just a neat freak. And when he found out where this fish came from, oh my goodness, you would think he was going to develop food poisoning 40 years after the fact. So Kenny shows me the exact Long John Silver, which is still there. Then we take a trip out to the nursing home where Ma Bolin, Kenny's mother, is a resident, and to visit her. So we're sitting at a table in the dining hall waiting for Ma Bolin to come out, and there's a couple of residents there, and so we start talking to them, and Kenny's telling jokes and stories, and we meet a nice old gentleman who claimed to be in World War XIV, to start off with having one leg shot off, then both legs shot off, and then the Sunday school teacher who had 27 children, come to find out that she did not mean she had given birth to 27 children, that she taught 27 children. So that was a laugh. Then Kenny decides to buy a round of soft drinks for the table, and he breaks out a $20 bill. And the dietary worker there at the retirement home was very crude, very rude, worse than the service that we got at Kingfish on the River. This lady just, my goodness. She was trying to tell us, these drinks are for the residents only, and we're trying to explain to her, Kenny is, well, I'm buying these drinks for the residents. We have a table full of old folks here that we're buying drinks for, and it stuff went south from there. Things went south, and we were pretty much asked to leave the retirement home. But you can read more about my trip up there, view photographs, at eastalnews.com. It's on the front page. Just click on the article, and you'll be able to read all about it. So let's get to our guest, Coach Anthony Jones from Notasulga High School.
All right, joining us today in the studio is Coach Anthony Jones from Notasulga High School here in town. Coach, glad to have you with us.
Hey, man, I'm glad for y'all to have me here, man. I'm excited already, and football's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. When's the first game?
August 24th, the Rebel Devil Classic.
Oh, my goodness.
Over in Notasulga this year. We'll play them. Me and Coach Johnson has, since he's been there, this is his second year. This is my third year. We have renewed the rivalry. We played last year.
Whooped up on them pretty good, too.
Well, it was a good victory for the community and the team, because we haven't beat them in about 9 years, and that's what we have been preaching about, us getting better, about us going over there competing, just taking it one play at a time, and just hanging around to the fourth quarter and see what happens. And we hung around to the fourth quarter, and we ended up pulling out a good victory to start that season off.
Absolutely. The real town Notasulga game, that's in this area, there are two arch rivals, Lochapoka and Reeltown for Notasulga. And being a graduate myself from Notasulga High School, those two games mean a lot to this community. And yes, I'm sure we'll talk about both of those teams here in a few minutes. But I want to really introduce Coach Jones to the listeners out there. He is a graduate of Notasulga High School, so we're glad to have him back here in our in the community, which is a very tight-knit, close community here in Notasulga, right outside Auburn, Alabama. Coach, tell us about your background, where you come from.
Well, like you say, I'm born and raised here in good old Notasulga, Alabama. It's a very small area where people know one another, and it's just a close-knit community where they have, when I was growing up, the neighbors raised you. Everybody knows everybody. You play with everybody. The only thing that we had to do around here was play football or basketball, and that's what
Right.
some of the stuff that we always did growing up. You either seen a good football game going on, or if somebody got a new basketball goal, you was over at their house, and their parents allowed you to come over there and gave you cold water and cold Kool-Aid, and
Absolutely.
and that was some of the things that's growing up that made us so well tight together.
Right.
And like I said,
Everybody, like the cheer song where everybody knows your name. That's this community.
yeah, and like I said, grew up in the Pistol Range area on Highway 81, one of the main Notasulga highways.
Right.
And everybody, like I said, knew everybody. Everybody, whenever you went, they knew your name, or they called your mama name, or your daddy name, or your brother, cousin, nephew. They knew you.
I still get that today. You Andy's son, or you're Andy's brother, or you're Terry's son, you Ada's grandson,
And the thing is I've been back, and it's hard. And I tell people, I don't get mad that people still call me Tank. That's just, I guess, the name that's gonna be with me forever and a day. And they'll call me Tank, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, baby. You grown now. You Coach Jones." But
Yep.
And I tell them that name built me forever.
And speaking of that building forever, what year did you graduate from Notasulga?
I came out in '98.
98. My brother graduated 95. I graduated 05. But the coach we had at Notasulga during those years was Coach Ronnie Sikes, and he built his teams not only for players on the field, but to be better men in life in general. And that's one thing, the leadership that Coach Sikes instilled into all of us and everybody that played for him was not only just to be a good ball player, but to be a better person. Learning from him on the field, I've heard so many good things about you and the things you're doing for these kids over at the school. Tell me us a little bit about how Coach Sikes influenced you while you played for him.
Well, like I said, I was in the program maybe since I was third, fourth grade when Coach Rhodes was there, and Coach Sikes was the assistant coach, and I was a water boy. And that's some of the stuff that I try to instill in these guys growing up in the program. I have youngsters now in the third, fourth, fifth grade.
That's where I started out.
Yeah,
doing it.
And once you be around it, it's just something that comes to you every day. You're there, and then you go through the things of getting the water. You go through the things of, washing the uniforms. And then once you do all that, you also be around, the coaches as they doing their job of coaching, and that makes you learn different things that they're doing, from the different drills, the different speeches they give, and the different things that they go through. So being a water boy to me is very important in a small community like Notasulga. It helps you come along with the team. It helps you grow. It helps you understand football. And then you also get where you just have to be around football. And myself, like I said, I've been around football since I was like in third grade. I was a water boy all the way up to the 7th, 8th grade till I was able to play junior high football. And and at that time, Coach Sikes had took over the program because Coach Rhodes had left. So Coach Sikes had came in and became the head coach. And then he brought along guys like, my one of my favorite coaches, rest in heaven now, Mr. Johnson, Coach Jay. He was one of the
Donald Johnson, very, very good man.
He was one of the best guys that we ever knew, man. And then
he taught us so much.
He was the math teacher too, so
yes.
He taught us stuff off and on the field that we needed in life, from math to just life lessons in football. And he really also made math easier because he brought it to us that math and football.
He broke it down for us.
Yeah, football and math was the same thing with that geometry, man. It was just like angles. That's it. You take a bad angle, you off. You take a good angle, you there.
That's right.
And that's how and we just always did that, man. And he also brought Coach Hall. Coach Hall is a very good friend of mine. And what people didn't understand, my first middle school job at Tuskegee Institute Middle School, we played Horseshoe Bend, and Coach Hall was the coach.
He moved up there.
Yeah, and when we walked across the field, he had grew a beard. I grew a beard, and we kept looking at each other.
Where I know you from?
And one of us just said, both of us at the same time said the name. I said, Coach Hall. He said, Tank. And man, we just hugged and laughed and talked about.
Took up like you just saw him yesterday.
Yeah, and we had to get ready for another game 'cause we was in a jamboree up in Allet City. But we stayed there and talked, and then after we got through talking, man, we just caught up on all those memories and all those times and all that stuff of him he was our history teacher.
That's right.
See, growing up, we had it pretty good because the head coach did biology, the assistant coach had the math, and the other assistant coach did history. So your 3 core classes was with your coach.
Coaches. Yeah.
So you gonna do right. You gonna understand what's going on in there. And then we also had Coach Threadgill. He helped out with football, but he was the head basketball coach.
Threadgill is a legend in this area.
Yeah, we trying right now to get him into the high school Hall of Fame. We getting all the stuff up for him, so hopefully he will be able to get on the ballot this year because, Coach Sanderson just went over last year, and he has helped me tremendously along this
I wanted
thing.
to talk to you about Coach Sanderson, and when in 2015, you became the interim head coach here at Notasulga, and right shortly after, Coach Sanderson, he was pretty much there to help a lending hand, was he not?
Yeah, he came along when I got there. He came on the field. He was a little bit before my time, so I didn't know who he was.
Right.
And he looked at me. He said, "I had your mama in health, Judy Jones. She knows me very well." And I went home. I told me, she like, "Yeah, Coach Sanders, we used to go out there and paint the field sometimes on Friday." And I said, "You know what? We used to do that same thing when we had stuff to do on Fridays. We had did all our work during the week. So on Friday, we had a home game. You got to go out and paint the field for if people needed some extra work.
That was pretty much a
points.
ritual.
Yeah, it was, man. So when we connected and he gave me some of his old school defense, and I brought some of my new school defense in, and we had
meshed them together
a good defense, and we still do have a good defense.
Absolutely.
That stuff that he ran and the new stuff that I knew, and we put it in a mixing bowl and beat it up a little bit, and next thing I know, man, we finished. My first year, we finished first in the region in defense. This year, we finished second behind Mapleville. So we doing pretty good on the defensive side. We even did pretty good in the spring game. In 2 games, we only gave up 16 points.
And that spring game, tell us the teams that was in that spring game.
We played 3A Barber County and we played 3A Beulah. The first game we played Barber County, we beat them 40-12. And then we beat Beulah 18-6.
Little bitty Notasulga taking on those 3A schools with, like you said, that mixture of old school and new school defense. And Coach Sanderson, like you said, went into the Hall of Fame this year, the Alabama High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame for football as a football coach. He started out here in Notasulga in the early 80s, mid-70s, and went through the 80s and then went to Valley, finish out his Alabama career at Valley, and he has been a big influence in this community and the school for Notasulga, and I've seen him on the sidelines helping out coaching, and had to have that mentor.
I have about 3 mentors. Like I said, and people wouldn't probably believe it, but Coach O'Neill at Reeltown is a mentor to me. He stepped down as soon as I got in, but he still mentors me. He still talks to me, still helps me out with some of the things outside of football, but it has stuff to do with football.
Right.
Coach Tate at Lochapoka just retired, and me and him are very good friends. We talk almost every day about different plays and different situations about football, and he just tell me that how he could remember himself as me starting off young, and he said the years just go by so fast. He said before he knew it, he was at 20 years, man, and he just looking back at it, and he just always tell me to enjoy it, take pride in what you do, take pride in everything, and just make sure you respect the other coaches and treat the game as just a humble guy. Things will help you out a lot.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, Coach Ronnie Sikes still, he I'm always say get well, Coach Sikes. I know he's down right now, but I know he's gonna pop back up.
He's gonna bounce back up. I saw him Friday. He looked beat, in better health, better spirits. Luckily, nothing too serious. They caught in time, and he'll be back out on the field soon over at Harris County. He's over in Georgia now at Harris County High School. moved on to bigger and better things after he retired or moved on from Notasulga after a very long career here. Tank, where did you go to college? Where did you?
I signed a football scholarship to go to West Alabama, and I played there for 3 years, and actually 4 years, because I went to Southern Union first.
Right.
To get some grades together, but I had the scholarship on the table, and the guys just told me, I had to go that summer and get some stuff taken care of, which I did, and we went down. I went down there and played for 3 good years, and I also played a year as when I was in grad. When I was working on my master's, I still had a year eligibility. So
that's great.
Yeah, I played first under the first guy that really turned my program around. We had Bobby Wallace. A great guy.
He just retired, did he not?
Yeah, great guy, man. Won some championships at North Alabama. He was at Temple, and he came down, and he turned our program around. Because I know my first couple of years, I had Sam McCorkle, and I have to be resentable for him because he gave me a chance. He came and scouted me at little old Notasulga.
He come all the way to Notasulga.
Yeah, from Livingston, Alabama. So
way far west Alabama. Way far west.
He really had to see something in me, and my D-line coach Tony Oglesby, which is at Miles right now, and jumping off that. But the funniest thing about that, Coach O comes to Notasulga and recruit kids, and for him to have been coached me in college, and now he comes and asks me about the talent that I have. He knows what
he wants to come scout here again.
Yeah, he always come every year. He'll come down and ask me who I have, D lineman or O line, because this is his area. So he comes down and recruits, and we go out for lunch and talk. He was a guy that really, once I got away from here, he was a guy that had to take me under his wing as a mentor at West Alabama, being that he was from Sumter. So,
right.
He taught me the good eating spots and where not to go after dog and where to go. Yeah, don't be over there, but you can go over there. So me and him to this day, we talk and text a lot. But West Alabama was something that really changed me because, being from a small area of Notasulga, a lot of us don't really leave from here. We'll get a job or a good plant job, or we'll get a good paying job and, start our families over.
Stay right here in Notasulga.
So
that's
when
a good
you get
thing.
away from here, it's hard because it's all, everybody.
Fish out of water.
Yeah, so now you down there, you don't really know nothing. You starting over. You got to build up to be not that young boy no more, but to be a young man.
Right, and my co-host here, he can talk about being fish out of water. He's been over to Japan and just come back from out of the military, out of the Marine Corps from 29 Palms, California. So
yeah, that was a big change.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I'm still as now as a grown man with a kid. I'm still, going around to places I have never been. Like, I still haven't been to Cali, and I say I want to go to California. I've finally been up the East Coast a little bit to Maryland and stuff. Places, just being from Notasulga, you just ain't been there.
A lot of time, you said these, a lot of people around here work and just don't have time to do it. Really, that's my problem right now. Is I'm just work, but it's summer too, so
yeah,
that's money making.
Speaking of summertime, Coach, how are summer workouts going?
Okay, well, summer workout is going pretty good. I think talking to my coaching staff, for us going into my 3rd year, this might be the best that I've been. Because I know the first time I got here, I had 8 kids at summer workout. And that was terrifying to me. I already came in 2 weeks before the season started, and I don't have 8 kids at workout. But, that Cinderella story paid pretty well for me. So the 2nd year, which was last year, we had a decent spring. Spring going into the summer. It wasn't like I wanted it to be. The numbers were still shady. And I still hadn't believed that the kids had bought into what I really wanted. But we had decent numbers, fair numbers. So we preached again about it this year. At the good spring that we had great numbers of kids that came out. We had like 30, 35 kids come out this summer for the spring. And as right now, we going into our 3rd week of workouts. We still been consistent with about 25, 30 kids coming to workout. So in a 1A program,
that's a big number.
Yeah, that's
a
good.
big number.
And we missing a few because some of them had to go to summer school and stuff like that. But though 25 to 30 on a roster of 35, that's about 95%, give or take. But you'll take that. That's a great number. So you
for
can
a
work.
1A small school, that is a great turnout for summer workouts.
Yeah, you get to work on those little miscellaneous things, your timing. You get to lift weights. You get to run together. You get to do all the stuff of throwing, running drills.
Get the team acquainted with each other and comfortable with their teammates.
And how often are y'all doing this?
We go 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. We picked it up last week a little because of the rain.
Right.
And we got a big 7-on-7 camp down at Bama State coming up Tuesday. And we are the only small school there. We have like Auburn High, Lee, JD, Carver, a couple of 3-4A schools from down down south of Alabama. So we up for the challenge, and we've been working. So we ready to go and compete. So I just think that, and like I tell them, when you go up against the big schools in these type of camps, I don't care about the win or losing. I just want to see the competition in you. I want to see the heart, the effort. I want to see if you going to still compete. Don't be scared of the name. We know that they're a big school. They have great resources. They got good skill guys and big stuff. But that's the reason why we play them is because we want to see how we are on that level. And if something that we're not working on, that we could go back in the laboratory and try to fix it.
If you can perform well, like you said, with programs in that size, that gives a really confidence booster, really. And not only, like you said, the resources are different, being the size of the programs there, but seeing those techniques that they use and seeing, I guess, how you could maybe apply some of those techniques on your field.
Not only about the kids, but I watch their coaching staff because they are the big dogs of the football. They 7A, 6A. So, they have more coaches out there than what we would have. So I get to see some of the technique and fundamentals of how they handle situations with their kids.
Those big programs like Opelika and Auburn and Smiths, these 7A, 6A schools, a lot of those programs are the size of small junior colleges or not even larger schools.
Those programs got indoor facilities. Like one of my partners that coach at Auburn High called him. I said, man, we ain't be able to get on the field all week, but y'all don't have that problem because y'all got indoor facilities. Y'all don't have to worry about
Absolutely.
that. The Opelikas and all that stuff. So when it rains and stuff, they go inside. And them places look like Auburn University indoor or Alabama indoor facility. They just that top-notch stuff that they have up there. And Lee County just growing as a whole so fast. Auburn got that big castle they just put up there.
And it's nice.
Opelika already had all that good stuff, good, program stuff they have. Smith Station got I think that school might not be 4 or 5 years old. They got 2 gyms in there to work with. And,
speaking of those nicer schools and everything, I understand that the Devil's Den is getting a little facelift. Tell us about what we can expect this football season at
Well, that's right now they are doing some renovation.
At Sanderson Knapp Stadium.
Yes, the famous man, and a lot of people that I play, they say that we have a nice stadium for a small school. It is a nice size stadium. We are getting a new press box bill for bigger coaches and stuff. We can get more people in. Like the home side will have their side, the visitors will have theirs, then the PA and the scorekeeper.
I'm going to have my own personal desk and everything set in there, right? Okay.
Everything will be over there, man. And we got reserved seats this year. They're blue. They'll be set up over there as well, like at the front end of the stadium.
Right,
and,
on the hill over there, right?
That's right, on the hill. Where people now, they were sitting, they was putting, they tiles and stuff, sitting down. Now you have seats over there and stuff now, but we're trying to get up with the something with the with home passes. I wish I could do season passes, but when this is not college or nothing, so in high school, they got to get their money. Everybody,
Right.
that's what it's about in high school.
You have to fund the program.
Yeah, you got to help out with the program. So we doing home passes, and we haven't got it connected yet to put on cement, but we trying to do a 5 home game thing with free parking for something. Then we trying to do the same thing with the free parking and reserve seats, first come first serve. And we, the Booster Club, we just trying to see just putting brains together, brainstorm, and see what type of stuff we could put up to help out the program and help the community and the fans out as well.
Right, and back when we were in school, the community played a big role on Friday nights, and I'd love to see that stadium filled up again like it used to be. Tell us about how it was back then on Friday nights, coming to a game in Notasulga, especially if we had Reeltown or Polka.
Well, there is no words to explain it. You hype from Monday when you come to practice. You already know what's at stake. You know who you playing. You know what you got to do. You know what type of game it's going to be. It's going to be a rowdy, hostile rivalry game.
And for those who don't know, that might be listening to this show from far off, if you've ever seen the Auburn-Alabama game, the Iron Bowl, these two schools that we're talking about, Notasulga High and Reeltown High, those are our Iron Bowls, and we have it twice a year, or twice in 1 year, per season. We have Notasulga and Reeltown.
The thing is, and all of us are no more than maybe 15 minutes away from each other.
If that.
And Reeltown is in Notasulga, so we kind of have the battle of who's the real Notasulga. Both of us are blue and white. And
the crosstown rivals.
Yeah, then we got the battle of 14, which we call with us and Notasulga. It's just a bunch of fun. And like I said, all three of these schools, kinfolks all go together to this school. Notasulga and Notasulga got kinfolks. Notasulga Reeltown got kin people. And,
absolutely.
And the trash talking is just unbelievable. But we try to keep it to a minimum about having sportsmanship. It's okay to talk a little trash, but at the end of the game,
you got those bragging rights.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Us in Reeltown is about that, but us in Polka is a little more because that's a region game. So it's a lot on the line when we play Notasulga.
Absolutely. That being in the same region now with Polka, that game, it could be a deciding factor on who goes to the playoffs.
Yeah, it came down to it last year where we was playing for seeds at that time for third and fourth seed, and we ended up getting the win last year. So we got the third seed, and they ended up with the fourth seed. But if they'd have beat us, we had to flip flop, and we would have had to go to Watley, and they would have had to go to Raglan. So it's very important in region play. Like I tell them, I don't want to lose not one game. I want to go 10-0 every year. But when you play tough opponents like Reeltown, Lynette is ranked maybe in the top 5. Lafayette was probably ranked in the top 5. So when you play those teams outside of your region, you want to win. But the most important thing is you just want to compete. You want to and just be helped and thankful that none of your kids get injured in those type of games.
Absolutely not.
Because those type of teams are very, very physical. They play tough football. If I play a lot of those 2A teams, and they're in the same region. And a lot of the coaches have called me about film and how did you defend this and how did this happen. And when I talk to Coach Johnson at Reeltown or Coach Story at Lynette or Coach Lucas at Lafayette, we all talk about the same thing of us trying to stop one another.
Right.
And like I said, that Thursday night when I play Reeltown, like I said, we always do that now. We the first game of the season on Thursday night, so everybody comes. But they're not just coming to watch the game. They come to see what me and Reeltown have because everybody got to play each other.
They're scouting it.
Yeah.
They're scouting that game. Later on this season, tell us about who the schedule for this year.
Okay, well, like I said, August 24th, we open up. Reeltown will come to us. All our games are at 7 o'clock, so we will hope that everybody get there early. And what I'm doing this year that was done when I was in school, and I thought it was cool, I was talking Chief knows about it. The chief here at Notasulga, Alabama. That we gonna put that sign back out there in the middle of that field, right there in front of Ben Bargains.
Put the sign back in town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and let people know, because sometimes a lot of people don't know that we have a game, that we even have a home game.
Right.
So we gonna start putting that back out there to let people know, hey, we would love to have your support to come over and watch us play on
Football
Friday
game
night,
tonight,
man.
7:00.
Yeah, nothing like Friday Night Lights. So just come out, hey, get you some popcorn, some good fried chicken, and watch some good Blue Devil football. But like I said, we got Reeltown that week at home. Then the following week, we travel to Lynette, which will be a dog fight for us.
Oh, absolutely. It always is.
Yeah, then we really don't have no time to heal, because then Mapleville roll back in here. The way they have it set up, Reeltown is week 0, and Lynette is week 1. Yeah.
Tell me how is that?
Week 0 is a game where you can have it. It can count, or it could be a fall jamboree. And I won't mind it. I want my week to count, because I take my buys later down in the year.
Right.
So
you don't want to take an
you
early.
gotta have a 10. They give you 11 weeks to play 10 games. So
it can count as a jamboree game, or
you have to. You and the other opposing team has to
agree on it beforehand.
So we agree this it counts. This is the first game of the year for us. Because you don't want to get stuck with only a 9-game season. Like some people Mapleville only play 9 games, because it's tough for people to want to play them. They have to play bigger opponents. Like they play Dallas County and I forgot the name. Tuscaloosa AHSAA I think out of Tuscaloosa. That might be the name of it. But those are like 4A schools that they don't nobody else want to play them, because they are tough. A tough 1A opponent.
Absolutely, for 1A, yeah, that's a there's just so many kids on their sideline versus ours.
And they put up 40, 45 kids for 1A.
Yeah.
So, that's numbers in a 1A, man, that's just awesome. There's nothing you can do to compete with that. They got 11 fresh D, 11 fresh O, and special team. They almost like a big school. So, and all their kids, they be top-notch athletes.
Yeah. What are some of the goals for this year for this team? We all know the big goal is
to get to Tuscaloosa is the goal. That's the goal. But the 2 goals that I've had, I want to try to win the region again like we did the first year.
Right.
So that means we will have to dethrone Mapleville and Isabella, because both of those teams beat me last year.
Those are some strong teams.
Yeah. We want to win the region, and anything, like you said, the big thing, we just got to get out the second round. We've been to the second round now for 2 straight times.
2 straight years, yeah.
Getting beat by Linden both straight times. And that was the goal that we had talked about when I had an interview on the Opelika Auburn newspaper, that we are in this second round jinx thing, and we gotta shake it. And I think we have a good team this year to get out of that, and we've been working hard so far.
How many seniors do you have?
I
this
have
year?
14 seniors on
14?
this team. Yeah.
Offense.
Offense and defense, because a lot of those go both ways. But so my receiver is my safety, my running back is my linebacker. But they've been doing this now for 4 years, so
makes you better.
Yeah, and we. Coach Butler does a great job of conditioning them. I'm glad I don't play no more as much running he had them doing.
Oh my goodness!
Like I said, I think that we're gonna see how tough we are with these first 3 games up. Reeltown, Lynette, Mapleville. That's how it was last year.
That's the first 3 games this year.
Yeah, last year we went 1-2. We beat Reeltown. Lynette, we just never had a chance.
They just took off.
They
came
came
like
down
a
and
rocket.
And before they hit us in the mouth so hard, it was something serious. And we went to Mapleville. It was 12-0 at half, and then they just took off on us in the fourth quarter, beat us 40-0. And the thing is, we were the closest team to anybody that played them all year long. Even in the championship game, they put 50 on Pickens County. I mean, there's
something about that team they had last year
They had a guy at running back, man. He had been starting since 8th grade year. He had won the 1A MVP 3 or 4 out of 5 years, and he was the 100-meter champion. So,
he had a set of legs on him.
Yeah, he signed to Troy, and but the person they have now, Nathaniel Watson, he already have 8 SEC offers. He's 6'5", 220 at receiver. And I'm telling you, we have people. It ain't no one person bringing him down.
No, it's going to take a group effort.
It's going to take two or three of them to get him down.
Definitely a group effort.
He's built up like a 6'7", 8" athlete. He once you see him, he stands out from everybody on the field. That's just how good he is. And I've been challenging my secondary that the first game we got this real time, which they got a kid, Eric Shaw. He's about 6'4", 6'5", about 200-pound receiver. Then we got Aquavius Pollard at Lynette, 6'6", and some change. And then you got Nathaniel Watson coming in right after that, 6'5", 215, 220. So I told my secondary, y'all can't take a day off.
No.
You cannot take a day off. And I tell people, too, people underestimate small ball football between 1, 2, and 3. But, man, it's athletes in this division. And I think that athletes are pretty good because they have to play both sides of the ball.
And that makes them a better ball player, having to play both sides of the ball.
It kind of crippled them, too, because they can't focus on one position. So that's like most of the times when they get recruited, they are being recruited as an athlete because you really don't know where to put them. But they can go anywhere because they that just dynamic to do that.
Yeah, they can play, anywhere, stick them in any situation, and they've got it because they've had to play both sides of the ball.
Exactly. So
and not only that, but different sports.
Yeah. All our guys, they playing baseball, basketball, and track. So their bodies really never get a rest. And when we try to tell them when they're off, get some rest because you need it. Because we try to push you we can't push you no more. And then you got to let your body rest, and you got to eat the proper foods and drink the proper fluids to have that in your body.
Right, teaching these kids the proper conditioning.
Exactly. But let me finish the scheduling. Like I said, that week 2 will be Maplesville. Then week 3, that's a Thursday night game. We would be RC Hatch would come up. RC Hatch is a athletic team. They're a basketball school, but they got a lot of athletes out there.
Right.
So we look at that game as just trying to control their athletes because they got speed and they got height. They just a good-looking ball club. Yeah, when you see them. Let me see, because right now, and I have so much going through here. I got the schedule right here.
That's all right. We'll put a link in the description of this episode. I'll put a schedule in there for Notasulga High School. So look in the comments below, and you'll see the link.
Yeah, I got okay. Like I said, we got RC Hatch, which that will be September 14th. And then September 22nd, we're at home again against Otaugaville. October 6th, we'll hit the road to go to Elwood Christian. October 13th, Friday night, October the 13th. And I got Lochapoka coming in. It's senior night and it's homecoming. So
on homecoming,
it's a lot of,
my goodness.
Yes, and I've been catching a lot of scrutiny from a lot of my Lochapoka friends and family, but I told them it's no disrespect. This is my last home game because my last 3 I'm on the road. Let me finish. October 20th, we go to Isabella, which is another crucial game. That's gonna be probably to see where we gonna end up at. October 27th, we're at Highland Home. That'll be my last region game. And then November 3rd, we are at the Dog Pound up in Lafayette, Alabama, where we go up against our good friends, Coach Lucas and Obadiah Threadgill. His son is the coach up there. He helps out with them, and we have a good trying to get a little rivalry with them too because they also got they got one of my homeboys up there, Coach Patillo. He went to Notasulga for a minute before he transferred and went to Army. So it's it's a family deal with that game too. And then we'll start playoffs next week. So, but back to the homecoming and senior night, we tried to get it to fit. And now TU has moved their homecoming. See, that messed it up because we have to go off what they go. Then Booker T. Washington gets to pick when they homecoming is, so I get the last pick. And October 13th was the last thing for me. So
you really didn't have a choice on the matter.
Yeah, now we might be able. We just can't. It can't be changed. So I just have to tell my guys we got a lot against us. I know they'll be fired up. I know they coaches are getting
absolutely.
them. I know coaches giving them that slap in the face speech. No respect, homecoming. You're a homecoming team, and it's senior night, homecoming. Then to top it off, it's Friday the 13th. So it's a lot of stuff going on.
It's going to be a big
night. So we have
really,
really got to get those guys focused and bought in to enjoy homecoming later. Homecoming is for alumni, for the community, and for the school. It is not
for everybody
for you.
to come together.
Yeah.
A little insight. I found out just a little while ago that the new offensive coordinator for Notasulga just moved in right down the street here. He's living here in Notasulga.
Okay.
Mayor Miller's old house right up here.
Right there by the Dollar General.
Right up by Dollar General.
Oh, okay.
That's where
I'm going to have to stop in and greet him.
We're sitting here on radio and pointing, giving each other directional cues, and we're recording his audio. But yeah, he moved in right up the block. I guess in the enemy territory. I don't know if he's going to be watching here or if we need to watch him.
Well, we still gonna treat him well. Notasulga, we still we hometown people, and like I tell all my friends when I play real town, it's love until 7:00. I hate you. I'm trying to scratch your eyes out, but then at 10:30 or 10:00, we shake hands and we back friends again.
When it's all zeros,
it's all the same thing with Notasulga. I tell them all that we are friends, we're colleagues, we help each other, co-workers. But 7:00, don't say nothing to me. It's all about football. It's 9:30 when it's time to shake hands. We talk about it, and it's over.
Well, y'all ain't just going to a meet and greet. It's a competition, right?
Yeah, and I try to tell my boys that don't linger on with it. Once it's over, man. We got to get ready for whoever the next week is. That's the best thing about high school football.
Right.
You only get to celebrate for two days. Friday and Saturday. Sunday, you get another game playing in to get ready for the next opponent.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Coach Sikes told us, take it quarter by, minute by minute, play by play.
That's right. That's right. Play every play like it should last.
Right.
Every play like it should last.
When that clock strikes all zeros, we're looking forward to next week. This week's over.
It's over. It takes forever to get ready for it, but it goes by just like that.
You're right. 12 minutes a quarter. That's it. It's time to go move on to the next game.
Yep.
Coach, we appreciate having you here on the show today, and it's been a pleasure. We're going to be definitely looking at that stadium renovation. I'll get out, shoot some photographs of it, and get it up on the site so everyone can take a look at that, see how well the school has progressed, maybe since if you know someone who's gone to school here or played against Notasulga and come to the stadium here, you'll be shocked. The new concession stand they put up last year or the year before, it is very nice. It's very nice.
They did a great job. We got the new Mr. Patillo, a fellow alum, Notasulga, came in and did the irrigation. The grass is just nice. The grass, we've been doing jobs keeping it up. Big Turf has been coming down. Co-op over here in Notasulga been coming down. And Mike Berry. Couldn't do a lot without Commissioner. Robert Mike Berry is a man, and man, he loves Notasulga football.
He looks out for this
community.
He loves
Notasulga football,
yes.
And he does. Anytime I could call him and tell him I need it, he'll give me a little problem, but he going to get it done for me. So I have to always respect him and just thank him for everything that he's done since I've been here so far.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of a small town like this, a small area. Everybody's so close, and if you need help, somebody's going to be there to help you.
Even the mayor, Tommy Miller, he's another guy that is, man, I call him, Mr. Miller, I need some uniforms. These are old. Mr. Miller, I need some cleats for these guys. He'll say, okay, we'll make it happen. And, give it some time, I just get a delivery. And right. I call him and say, man, thank you. Thank you so much for this. And he said, Coach, just win them ball games.
Absolutely.
So that's what I got to do.
It's a real, my co-host here, him and his brother just moved to this, our fine little town here, and I think they like it.
I love it.
What say you? Yeah,
I love it.
Man, it's one of the places, even in this generation right now, you could still have your door open and don't be scared. And that's, like last night we had a power outage, and it was out for, I don't know because I went to sleep, but I know it was out from 9 to about 12. And I was playing on my phone till it went dead. And like I said, we had to open the windows and doors because it was hot. And hey, we woke up the next day, ain't nobody tried to break in. I'm not saying it doesn't happen now because
nobody's gonna have no problem.
Yeah, but for majority of it, it's not a problem.
And, speaking of that, the new coach from Lochapoka, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I'm not good with names on the first time, but he said that he had it when I stopped by to talk to him, that there had been 5 or 6 people stop by to introduce themselves and welcome them to the neighborhood. And he said I was surprised, to see that.
I'm going to stop and introduce myself. I talked to Walter Pitts the other day, the basketball coach up there, but I know a lot about him from being from Notasulga and being in the the water boy for Coach Threadgill and stuff. And, I know he was a legend at Lochapoka basketball, played at Alabama, and he's been in the coaching circuits in the WNBA and the college league. So he brings a lot. He brings in a lot of, the same thing with their head coach. He coached in championships at Prattville, and he went to Toggerville and turned that program around, and he went up to help out with the University of Michigan, and that helped him. You go away to Michigan and you learn some stuff, and then you come back down here to the South. They have a pretty good coaching staff they have put together up there. I know they also got L.C. Coles, a guy that's been around coaching well. He's been under Dubose at Phoenix City and Prattville. So he has a lot of coaching stability, and I'm trying to learn the other 2 guys as well. And, I meet them. Like I say, I get a chance. I stop by and talk to them if I see them in the yard. And
they were unloading, moving into that house, and I stopped and introduced myself, and he told me that he was the offensive coordinator from Lochapoka. I said, "Well, that's great. I'm definitely going to be talking to you and the head coach the closer we get to football season." And he said, I was not expecting this to be greeted with open arms like this, moving into a new community. Just today, unloading the truck, you're the 5th or 6th person to stop by and welcome us to this community, and you don't find that much anymore. I said, welcome to Notasulga. That's just the way it is. If you need something, somebody's going to help you in this community. We've pulled through a lot of disaster and a lot of grief and a lot of heartache over the years to help each other out.
Yep, that's what it's all about.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate you stopping by and giving us a few minutes to talk about the season upcoming and all the great things you've done here at Notasulga, and continue on with that, bringing the good things back to us.
It's like I tell people, it's not me. It's the community helping me. I got a great coaching staff, and people that was in my life when I was at that age in this program helped me out. So they still around. They still helping me out. They does a great job behind the scenes, and you can't do anything without God above. So that's Absolutely. All that I do is just praise him and just thankful for the people around me that's helping me with the program.
All right, thanks for stopping by and joining us.
Thank you, Coach.
It's been a pleasure, and we will definitely see you down the road this football season. I'll be there on the sidelines on Friday nights, looking in on you, and hopefully we'll put some W's up on the board.
That's right, and keep me in line. Now, if you see me going out there in the referee, let me know.
Oh, don't worry, I'll pull you back in.
Thanks so much for listening to Tackles, Tunes, and Turnbuckles, brought to you by the East Alabama News Network with your host, Adam Broach. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit tttpod.com. That's tttpod.com. We'll catch you next time.